Would you rather be judged for being single at 30 or cry yourself to sleep next to the wrong man for the rest of your life? Let me say it again. When you marry someone, you're not just marrying a person, you're also marrying his beliefs, his habits, his mindset, and his lifestyle. Most marriages don't benefit women unless the man is financially secure and generous with his resources. It's only mutually beneficial if both parties are committed to start a family that a man is willing to provide for. I said what I said. It was never about finding a wealthy rich man. It's about how generous he is when it comes to sharing his resources with you. And spoiler alert, if a man is intimidated by a woman with high standards, he was never the provider type to begin with. High value men don't shame women for desiring financial stability. They simply create it for them. Have you noticed that it's always the man who has no real tangible asset under his name that act like women are after his non-existent fortune? Perhaps if they spend less time complaining and more time leveling up, they would actually have something to offer. One day, you'll realize that who you marry will have a bigger impact on your life than what you do for a living. For starters, here's a tip to repel dusty men. If he has the audacity to ask for access to your body on the first date, you match his level of audacity by asking for access to his bank account. Yes, you heard me. The point is to make him realize that what he is asking for is not something to be taken lightly. In fact, it's utterly disrespectful. And I get it. It will be uncomfortable as hell in that moment. Doing this may also ruin the connection, but think about it. Do you really want to date a man that asks to sleep with you on the first date when he has barely done anything to prove himself? Here's the catch. Whenever you rely on your feelings to make decisions concerning your future, there is a high possibility that it may turn out to be the most irrational and regrettable choice you will ever make. As I have mentioned in my previous episodes, the fleeting nature of emotions will cost you dearly if you don't apply it with wisdom. For instance, clinging onto a person knowing that they are not a right fit for you, or staying with someone who constantly cheats on you is a form of self-abandonment. I know I may probably get a lot of hate for saying this, but it's incredibly concerning how most women are willing to date down for the man they love, meaning they compromise their lifestyle to match his. Let me make this clear. When a man doesn't want to change for the better, he will find any woman that's okay with his lifestyle so he doesn't have to grow up. He's looking for someone weaker than you who can accept the bare minimum. And no, it's not because he needs your help to fulfill his highest potential. It's because deep down, you don't think you deserve better. It's a universal truth that men always think about themselves first. Their needs, their comfort, their sexual desires, their convenience. For some of you, I know what you're going to say next. Since you earn more or come from a wealthy background, you can just upgrade his lifestyle to match yours. By all means, sure. But that would also mean you have to take care of him financially, in a sense that if you are used to eating at fancy restaurants for date nights, but he's not comfortable with that, you'll be the one getting the bill. Or you can compromise to eat at home and cook for the both of you. Either way, doing that in the long run will cause resentment, and I don't think I need to say more. With that being said, the only benefit for women who prefer to settle for a man that needs fixing is the sense of security that comes with being in control. By having fewer demands or lower expectations for her man, it makes the relationship easier, more predictable, less challenging as compared to dating someone of a higher caliber than she is. But what if I told you that even if you date down, thinking it's a safer choice, it does not mean that these men are any more likely to stay loyal and commit to you. Rather than being with someone you feel like you have to tolerate, why don't you reevaluate your priorities and ask yourself, why am I settling for a man? I get it. No one is easy to be with. If you are together with someone right now and you find that their flaws are not that difficult to embrace, Congratulations, you have found yourself a suitable match. Here's a message for women who are struggling to get out of toxic relationships. First of all, never stay in a relationship that promotes tolerance just because you love a man, especially when his actions or behaviors are causing you intense hurt or shame. I'm sure there's at least one woman that you know or in your circle that has been in an abusive relationship or is still in the midst of it. Just look at her energy, her aura. It's a reflection of our mental and emotional well being. What if I told you that getting into a relationship with the wrong man will not only physically change your appearance in a negative way, it also mentally drains you, turning you into a person that's essentially unrecognizable? If you know that you're a wise, beautiful, loving, secure woman, but you allow a dusty man to come into your life, he will literally take everything from you without holding back. Your beauty, your confidence, your peace, your kindness, and your precious energy. You'll be left with nothing but an empty shell. What most women fail to notice is that the signs were there all along. It may not be obvious at the start, but the relationship will chip away your sense of self to the extent that you don't want to get out of bed. Your daily routine becomes a mess. You start to lose discipline in everything you do, from working out to eating clean. You don't bother to put on makeup and look good anymore. You stop hanging out with your friends, and you prefer to isolate yourself and be in sweats all day. Months of years have went by, you stumble upon yourself in the mirror and realize that you don't recognize yourself anymore. Very often, this happens when you are thriving as a single woman, being the best version of yourself until you meet a man who clearly does not meet your standards, but somehow, in the name of love, your feelings get in the way instead of your wisdom. And let's be real, a part of you knows that this is not going to work because you will find yourself making excuses for his laziness or bad behavior. Don't get me wrong, if you enter a relationship with the intention to fix a man, you have already lost. Being delusional is one thing, but losing yourself in the hopes of changing someone is a serious problem. I don't know if you are ready to hear this, but instant chemistry is not love. Let that sink in. There is a clear distinction between chemistry and love. The instant chemistry you feel with someone, or rather, the strong mutual attraction you have for each other, is often fleeting, and the word fleeting is something not to be trusted. It comes and goes, mostly within seconds or minutes, and it amplifies through the brain by producing more dopamine. And that's what we know as love hormones. Tell me, how is that reliable? I can assure you that your odds of finding a real lasting love is much higher if it's based on long-term compatibility instead of a chemical reaction. Ultimately, it's your choice, but don't you ever forget that all it takes is a momentary lapse in judgment that will cost you everything, including your peace. Trust me, I have definitely learned that the hard way. On the other hand, when you fall in love with someone, it means you truly care about your partner's needs and consider their feelings in all situations. No excuses. If you have not experienced any of this, you have never been in love, and that's okay, because love is found in the little things. In the way flowers bloom in spring, in the nourishing home-cooked meals where it comforts the soul. Love is all around you every day, in every moment. As of now, it may not be necessarily found in a person, but if you commit to loving yourself every day, that's all it matters. Just because something is taking time doesn't mean it's not happening for you. One day, you will meet someone who can match the same level of love you have for yourself. What if I told you that testing a man's character before you get engaged with him is the only assurance that you have made the right choice? Being self-assured is the closest thing to feeling safe and confident in yourself. In life, there is no guarantee, just like how we cannot guarantee that we won't get fired from our job tomorrow. But before you assume that I'm trying to create drama just to test a man, we are not doing that. Time has a way of revealing the truth. As a wise woman, all you have to do is to sit back and observe. Analyze his reactions in times of frustration, anger, stress, disappointment, resentment, and temptation. Basically, how he navigates life's obstacles speaks volumes about his character. It also provides insights into his emotional intelligence and his ability to handle real life issues. Let's pause for a moment and ask yourself, what would you do if you find out that your man is cheating on you or physically abuse you one day? If you have the slightest hesitation for this question, you are not ready to put yourself first. Let me get this straight. Men respect women who are not afraid to walk away. When he sees that you value yourself more than him, that's when he either step up to be better or step aside for another man to take over. If he ever crossed your boundaries, he knows that there will be consequences and you will decide what to do based on the severity of it. For instance, most cheaters don't regret cheating. They regret getting caught. Most of the time, they knew exactly what they were doing, they just thought they could get away with it. Their only regret is losing your love, peace, stability that comes with the relationship. Ultimately, what you decide to do from here is entirely up to you. I believe that everyone has a different set of values and boundaries, so there is no right or wrong answer, just lessons to be learned. Here's my final advice: be as picky as you want. Based on statistics, marrying late has never ruined a woman's life, but marrying the wrong man has undeniably destroyed countless of lives. Let's normalize choosing high standards over ego or desperation, and freedom over Disney fairy tales. As we all know, society tends to over glamorize weddings but keeps quiet on marriages that suffer in silence. Have you ever questioned the logic behind pressuring women to settle down before she hits an imaginary deadline, like as if her worth disappears after a certain age? To a certain extent, I agree that women have a biological time clock. But with the advancement of IVF and egg freezing treatment available in most countries, I don't see why women have to settle for a mediocre marriage or worse, an abusive one. The truth is, I have seen way too many women trade their peace and sanity just to say that they're not alone. May your standards be as high as a shooting star. Thank you for watching and bye!